Hello, and welcome to yet another episode of Bullpen Banter. My name's Antonio Sacco. I'll be your host, and I'm joined by Ryan Lancaster, the Director of Division II Baseball Operations with the NCBA. How we doing, Ryan?
Pretty good. How about yourself?
Good, man. Good. Well, we had a fun, last couple months of NCBA baseball and postseason and the World Series and everything. Kind of run me through how that postseason went, and then obviously the World Series was super fun. Let's talk kind of through the whole thing.
Yeah, I mean, first of all, it was a really good year we had in 2026. A lot of really good competition as far as like what I saw at the D2 World Series. But to recap all the postseason, I mean, each regional was fantastic. We had teams, underdog teams that performed really well, very close games, a lot of walk-offs. Talk to the Stony Brook, they came out of the Chesapeake region. They were the three seed. Me personally, I didn't think that they were really one of those top teams, but they proved that with their pitching, like they could win big games, and that's what they did. And the Dixie, South Carolina, they lost the first game against Florida, and then came back and won every single game, four straight to beat Florida again in the championship. So that was very huge for them. And then the Great American SFA upsets Arkansas, who was undefeated at the time, and SFA, they were definitely one of the tougher teams, especially at the World Series that we saw. And go to the New England, Brockport won a great regional against Bryant and Cortland and Sacred Heart. That was a very tough regional. The new Penn had featured probably I thought the toughest, and Penn State came into that one. The Northern Plains had Grand Valley, and they handled business. I think each of their games were walk-off wins, from what I remember. The Pacific had Grand Canyon roll past Santa Clara, who I thought was probably one of the better teams that did not make the World Series. And then in the Rocky Mountain, Pueblo kind of upset um, that that region.
Yeah,
But
definitely, man.
um, but yeah, following
I
to the
think,
World Series, all eight of those teams performed well. Brockport was the winner. They won their first game against Penn State, then lost to Grand Canyon, then fought their way out of the losers bracket to win two against South Carolina, and then won the championship against Grand Canyon, which was a fabulous game. And speaking to the World Series as a whole, it was a lot better than what I expected. I think the competition definitely was better than what we've seen in years past, and each team was very competitive with pitching, hitting. It was just it was great World Series in general.
yeah, I definitely agree with pretty much everything you said there. That World Series was, I've been here for 5 years, and that might have been the best D2 World Series that I've watched. Which I mean, sometimes you get really good World Series, sometimes you get kind of ones where you expect a team to win. Honestly,
Mhm.
this one going in, there was like even Stony Brook, who didn't win a game, played two extremely close games, and like they were to me a shot coming out of that region. I thought that region was very strong, and Stony Brook coming out, and like you said, with the pitching, you could almost, if you could pitch, you could almost always win. It's just they kind of got out edged by, I believe they lost to South Carolina. Then was it Stephen F. Austin their second loss?
Yeah, and I'll credit to them. I was really hoping I could see them use all three of their arms, but
Yeah,
yeah, they were tough. I think there was also three walk-offs
yeah.
in the World Series. South Carolina was one, I think, and then SFA
Well,
had another one.
yeah.
Um, I can't think of the last one off the top of my
Was it
head,
Grand
but
Valley? I feel like it might have been Grand Valley walk off, but I could be wrong there too.
yeah,
But either way,
but
speaking of
it's great.
SFA, they might have won the weekend without winning the World Series.
Yeah,
Obviously,
I
anyone
think
that watches Major League Baseball saw the tarps off movement start, and just like the stories that they were telling us at the World Series were just awesome. Like, yeah, Marmol literally was like, "You guys want to come into the clubhouse?" And they walked right in. One of their players was like his step family knew. I believe it was Mason Wynn. So like they might not have won the World Series, but they won the fun part of the weekend, which is always what we want teams to do is have fun and have a good time playing. But the team that did win the World Series, Brockport, obviously, I had the pleasure of watching their regional, and they looked very good at regionals. And when I saw them at regionals, I'm like, this team can hit. They have a true number one arm in Cade Cochran. I'm like, they have a shot to make a run at it. And sure enough, they were able to, get the job done. And with us talking about Brockport, we actually have two guests. They're going to be joining us. Their president, Hunter Byrne, and their VP, Johnny Poulos. So I'm going to get them onto our pod. How we doing, boys?
Going on?
The horse, as they call you, Johnny. How we doing?
What's doing good? How are you, Antonio?
Good, good. I think Hunter's working on getting his camera and mic turned on here.
Sounds good.
But just let's start with just you for now. Obviously, you were on the team, I believe, the last 4 years, if I
Yeah,
remember correctly. Kind of
yeah.
walk us through, how you discovered your freshman year, Brockport Club baseball.
So I came to Brockport for PE, and then I was coming to try out for D3, and I went the whole fall with D3, and then unfortunately got cut. And I asked the coach, "Can you give me the president's number for club baseball?" Went to their practice that day, pitched to like a bullpen in front of him. He was like, "Yeah, you're on the team." I was like, "All right." And it kind of just went from there. Like I just started to. I was like, I wasn't sure if I wanted to stay at Brockport, but then I was with the team for like not even a couple days. I was like, I feel like this is a family right here, and the rest is history.
That's awesome. Was that Dan at the time, or was that the president before Dan?
Danny,
Dan, because I remember him. I couldn't remember what year you might have started, but I worked with him obviously a couple years when you guys were up in the D1.
yeah.
But now that Hunter's joined us, Hunter, same question I just asked Johnny was, how did you discover club baseball? Just kind of walk us through your path of how you ended up on the club team at Brockport.
Um, so yeah, Johnny, he said he was playing for the D3 team there in the fall. I was actually gonna try and walk on as well, and then I showed up to the first preliminary meeting, and there was probably 80 guys in the room, and I was just like, yeah, this is not something that I want to put spend like a second job, especially while I'm just trying to focus on school in my first semester. So then instantly right after that, I just reached out. I looked up the Instagram. I went to Club Craze, and then I met Danny and them. Went to tryouts, and then I just played ever since.
Yeah, that's awesome. So, obviously, great season for you guys. I know people were kind of calling you guys underdogs, underrated earlier in the year, and you kind of showed everyone, hey, we were legit from the start. We're always going to be legit. Kind of talk me through the regionals. Then, obviously, I want to hear about, your approach at the World Series, but talk me through the regionals at first, knowing that, Cortland, you were going to see them again. You knew Bryant was a team that was at the World Series, and Sacred Heart was honestly a wild card coming in. Like, they were in that New England Central, I believe, but that region, was typically Marist region, and then Sacred Hearts came out of nowhere. And I believe you guys played Marist at some point, possibly, or Sacred Hearts. Did you play somebody?
No, we didn't
No,
play either of them. We were gonna go down and play Marist, but it just wasn't it wasn't realistic with our budget to go all the way down there for a weekend.
definitely makes sense. But yeah, kind of talk me through regionals to start. Your approach there, going into playing
Um,
some teams you might have never
for
seen, and
us,
obviously,
it was kind of interesting. So now, before we even got to regionals, I say we were not a completely different team, but we're a different team this semester than we were the fall semester,
Right.
simply because we had those five inactive guys. Um, and that really came down to this year. We had always been like switching out playing guys. Like guys wouldn't play a full series. At least my first 3 years, other than like three dudes would play the full series. Um, so it was really difficult for some people to really grasp that they weren't going to be playing a lot. So that's how we lost a couple guys that were going to be big for us this semester. But then we had the additions of like Orion and them. But going into regionals, that was like our first tournament structure that we've ever even played in. So it's kind of interesting for us trying to think about who we were going to throw and how we were going to throw them, especially because we have three main starters. I don't Most of you guys don't even know, but Johnny was our starter last semester in the fall. Like Derek wasn't we
Yeah.
didn't know what Derek really was yet. And he had a couple of shaky outings in that fall semester. So Derek didn't even start a game until PCB, and then we realized that okay, he's got the arm, and then he made that big start against Cortland, really showed us what he's got. So it was kind of also that we didn't use a ton of bullpen arms. I mean, Werner threw 19 innings before regionals, and that was like the only arm we had to use just because our starters would go the entire game every series. So it was kind of difficult for us to really grasp how like who we were going to put it in when. And that's why I would always have so many guys down in the bullpen because short leash, like I know who I'm working with, like I see them throw every week. So I know guys are either going to have their days they're going to be on or they're not going to be. So it's more of just trying to be proactive than reactive. Like we don't have the amount of arms to then when we get down, try and come back with it from it.
Yeah.
And
I think the biggest thing was too for regionals. Like obviously we knew who Cortland was, and for Bryant we had a clue. Sacred Heart, I felt like we didn't really know because we never played them. So it was kind of like when we were talking about pitching, it was really what Ryan Redmond was a big name that we went with that game because you just knew he was going to keep them off balance. We weren't sure of what type of like pitching they really saw, and it all worked out with having Cade and then Derek for Bryant. I would say the work, like the team just worked so hard throughout the whole year, and especially before regionals, knowing that we were in regionals, like because we were for a couple weeks weren't sure because we had to play Syracuse, and then obviously that got rained out. So I would say the mindset was really great from all the guys before regionals.
yeah, speaking of Redmond, I knew when I saw him warming up, I go, okay, soft tossing lefty. It wasn't like I discounted him by per chance, but I always say at the club level, if you got a soft tossing lefty that could locate, you always got a chance to beat a team. And I saw him, kind of warming up in the pen. And after that first inning, I go, Sacred Heart, it's going to struggle with this kid because he's doing exactly what you need to do as a soft tossing lefty. And you guys, that second game having Cade was
Yeah,
literally perfect for you because once you throw Cade Cochran on the mound, it's almost if you look at his stats, it's almost like an automatic win for you guys. It kind of
yeah,
seemed like. But at the World Series, obviously, you guys had losing that game kind of shifted a lot of what you had to do.
yeah,
And even in the championship game, you had to throw Anthony Venditti, who pretty much didn't throw all year. And then he goes on the mound and's probably throwing 80 miles an hour, maybe a little harder, it seemed like. And I was like, where did this guy come from? So at the World Series, it's just like you guys even seem to have arms that you didn't use. So that
yeah,
was just really interesting of your team management and being able to, Derek Van Auker's going out there for 4 games because he's able to, locate
yeah.
even when he's throwing 155, 160 pitches. So that was just you guys were like fun to watch at the World Series with that stuff too.
And I want to add to that, like Anthony Vendetti, like he never knew when his chance was going to be because he was always playing first. But every Monday night, he was working so hard on that mound. So when that chance came, he was ready for it. And yeah, it's all history now.
Yeah, for
Step
sure.
And
Ryan, you got
I'd say it's interesting to talk about guys like Venditti because it's really understanding your guys. I mean, he's a guy that gets in his head a lot. Like if you watch the game, you'll notice. I mean, he'll hit a double and drive in 2 runs and he'll come back to the dugout and somehow be upset about the AB. And it just won't make sense to me. So like that'll happen a lot on Mondays when he's throwing. Like he'll hit a guy or he'll walk a guy and then he'll just stop trusting himself. So that's what made me nervous to really put him in that moment. I know Derek had thrown 180 pitches, but I also knew Venditti flat out probably has the best stuff on our like he honestly has better. He always looks better than Cade in the cages. It's just a matter of where's his mental state at.
Yeah,
And as soon as he came back out at Cal, he had his first inning, he looked great. And then Cal Banks, he couldn't get that bunt down in was it the bottom of the sixth or top of the seventh to
Travis.
move the runner over to third because like we want that would have been a huge run for us. We could have cashed that in. Um, when I saw Venditti come up to Banks in the dugout when he was sitting down all upset, he was like, "Go get your head up. We're about to go out there. You're about to catch the last out." And that's just something like I hadn't seen from him all year. As soon as he did that, I just knew something was different, something was up.
Yeah. Well, going back to the PCB, the Van Auker start, was that the Northern Iowa game?
Yeah.
Yeah, that
The
you want to know
Northern.
Yeah.
what's funny is that's the one game I actually got run support. That and the regional game, like you look at the GCU game. I mean, Cade dropped two fly balls in the first inning, and we had an error
Oh
at
yeah.
third. That gave up 4 runs. Like I said in the post game, like if we just don't make those, it's a completely different game. I mean,
Yeah, for sure.
and then yeah, I did Derek dirty in PCB by taking him out there. Made sure I wasn't going to make a mistake like that one again. So I was glad that happened in PCB. It wasn't a very meaningful game.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
So I got a
remember.
question for you guys
Yeah, I
here.
was gonna say, Ryan, go ahead.
So you guys were in Division One a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
You guys are both 4-year players, got demoted, then kind of just up climbing. How was this turnaround for especially you guys who started in Division One as a freshman, now you're seniors, ending in Division Two, winning it all. What has like this turnaround been for you guys? Because as far as I know, Brockport doesn't really get many out-of-state students. When we were looking at the rosters, like all in-state New York, so that's very like selective when recruiting comes or like trying to get more kids. Like, how did you guys turn around for how small of a school you guys are?
That's tough because
Really?
when I joined the first semester, like I went to tryouts and I was like, wow, like we're bad. Like we were so bad that like it was hard to show up to game weekends to get mercy ruled by Pitt and Penn State. Like it was it was pretty frustrating to
Yeah.
say the least. But I think it's just that the culture we had, like we just all enjoyed being there. Like it's
Yeah.
not like no one wanted to not be there. Um, and that's what started building it because then I was on the office in the office the next 2 years.
Yeah.
Um, and I actually never planned on being the president. Like I didn't plan on running until probably 2 days before we had the election. We weren't even going to do an election actually. We are just going to make this kid Nick Liberty president. Um, but yeah, I feel that it was just the culture, the guys
Yeah.
wanting to be there. I mean, JP got Steven and Orion to join literally by just a car ride, hanging out, talking to them.
Yeah.
Um, and that's what I think we really built the culture around. You know, we did those 5 guys did drop out because they weren't fitting our culture. And then we picked up guys that wanted to join the culture. I think that's going to be big for them next year.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be a little interesting to see. There's not one office member who's been on part of the board yet, so I'm pretty intrigued to see how that goes. Especially knowing that those 4 guys are pretty good friends. You're going to butt heads a lot. And I think it's important to have diversity within the office, especially, I mean, we had JP and Redmond,
Yeah.
2 POs who can't put themselves in the lineup. So they had offered like great adverse opinions. And I think that's just a big reason why we succeeded this year. We had a lot of the same guys last year, and I felt that
Yeah.
it was just not playing this. You gotta if you're gonna be a consistent and good ball team, you gotta run out the same guys and you got to have confidence in them. And when you're switching them out, guys can't get good ABs in and get in a rhythm. So it's really about trusting your guys and letting them roll with it.
Yeah. Um, I feel that our biggest turnaround. I mean, when we came in, me and Byrne and a lot of the guys, we came in as freshmen. We were so young, and our team was really young in D1. Where once our junior year came in D2, a lot of the guys knew like the whole system, how we run it. Where we had a lot of leaders, and then this year our new board came in, like me and Byrne came up with higher roles, and Jack and Redmond. I felt like we kind of had like a foundation of how we are doing this, and everyone should be following how this is. And I really felt that we paid attention to a lot of detail, what helped us like turn everything around because we have been at the level for club for a while, so we saw how to win games and really implemented that into practice. And a lot of the guys were buying into the system of like a we versus me, like really about the team, and that is why I feel we even went this far and won the whole thing. was because everyone was staying together. It didn't matter if you didn't play or not. Everyone was together. It was a brotherhood, and I felt like that was all the every year was like that, but this year was just different. It was a different group, and yeah,
Yeah, for
Yeah,
sure.
that's kind of what I saw. The World Series, you guys were very tight knit. Everything you guys did were together.
yeah,
Like, it was probably one of the more bonded teams that I've seen there.
Yeah, Ryan, with them moving down to D2 and going, winning the whole thing though, I actually remember getting the email from Dan. Like Hunter, you said we're awful. His email wasn't exactly saying that, but he's like,
Yeah.
we'll never compete at the D1 level. We need to move down to D2.
yeah,
Can we please move down? And that was your freshman year, I think, going into your sophomore year.
Yeah.
And then we
yeah,
ended up getting you guys down there, and we're probably middle of the pack. And then obviously the growth has been awesome. But yeah, I still remember getting that email from Dan being like, listen, it's not that I think our team's awful, but we're never going to compete with Penn State. We're like just because of like you said, you guys are all New York
yeah.
recruitment where you're getting these bigger schools where Penn State's got guys from all over the country that could potentially go there, and you're just dealing with different school sizes and everything else.
Yeah, and
You
it
got
honestly, like some of these bigger schools, like they got all these big facilities. Like you should see the practice field we have. Like I wouldn't even like it's
That
worse than my yard of grass. Like
yeah,
there's mounds, there's not even I wouldn't even consider them base paths. I mean, we
yeah,
practiced on the field probably twice this semester, and the
yeah.
rest of our practices were either on the turf, in the cages, or inside at the circ.
Or the football
Yeah.
field.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we just played on the turf at the football field. Like that
we
was
did
it.
an inter did it. We did an inter squad before the week of Syracuse where we were supposed to play them. We did it on the football field.
one way to get it done. But all right, guys, we have one last thing we want to do with you. It's a segment that we have called Three Strikes, You're Out. It's a wheel that we spin with a bunch of different topics on it. You can see the wheel on the screen now. So I'm going to spin this, whatever it is. We'll kind of have both of you guys answer whatever it is.
Okay,
Cool.
sweet.
It's
So
awesome.
here's the first spin. So
Oh
Drift,
God.
so nicest uniforms that either you guys have that you like a lot or that you've played against or anything like that. Pretty much the nicest uniforms you guys have seen in club baseball.
Um, yeah, we got these ugly mustard uniforms that we actually never wore for regionals or the World Series just because I refused to put people in them. But I liked FGCU had some cool jerseys when I was watching them. I like their jerseys.
Yeah, I like Bryant's uniforms. They were nice. The
Yeah,
grays.
Bryant gets the old varsity. They have a couple of the old varsity uniforms, I think, that have I forget what conference they're in the NCAA, but they have like the conference patch on it and all that. But yeah, they
Oh,
have
that's
some
sweet.
Hunter, I like the yellows.
Yeah, they're not that bad. I never had good luck in them, and I
They've
didn't
only
want
played
guys
one
to.
game in them.
Yeah, we played one game in
You
them.
guys have what, four jerseys, right? You got
Yeah,
the yeah, that's a lot. I mean, I
they're
like the
adding on.
greens.
They're getting
The
a new
green.
one next year, so
Oh,
Oh,
I
wow.
guess we'll see what color that is. Well, the yellow were supposed to be gold, but Danny must be colorblind because that is nowhere near gold.
I thought the
That's
dark
it.
greens were a good
Yeah.
touch. Same the
Yeah, I like the
blacks were
dark
nice.
green.
The
But
gradient. I
yeah, the
like
Yeah,
that.
gradient numbers were sick.
yeah, yeah.
All
We got
right,
some good
boys.
jerseys.
Let's get over to your second wheel spin here.
is this going to be posted somewhere where people can watch?
Yeah, we uploaded to YouTube for you guys.
Okay, that's cool.
So this wheel spin is
Uglies.
ugliest uniform. So we already mentioned your yellows, but do you have another uniform that you saw another team wear that you were like, that is disgusting?
I'm
uh,
trying to think about in Florida. There was some ugly uniforms.
yeah,
I feel like everyone. I don't know.
it's a tough one.
Maybe I don't know. I have no idea. That's a tough
Oh,
question.
maybe like
North,
Oleato. They didn't.
I think Siena had some pretty bland jerseys.
I
I
want
know
to say maybe.
Cortland's don't look too great either.
I was gonna say maybe Oleato. Maybe I don't even know.
Pulling out their whole conference right now. Everyone's uniforms suck, but ours. All right, boys. Let's go one last wheel spin here.
It's the one where it's shit on your rival, so we can just go and talk about Cortland.
So this is a would you rather question. I'm thinking you guys are gonna have different answers, but would you rather be able to throw 105 mile an hour, fastballs for strikes and locate your stuff, or have all five tools as a baseball like fielder?
Throw 105. That'd be sick. So throw 70 miles per hour.
73,
That's
Johnny.
a
73. Come on, horse.
that's a good one for John right there. Yeah, I'd probably go, yeah. I'd probably go the five tool because we don't need two guys throwing 105. Can't take John's star fandom.
Then you'll really be the horse, John.
Oh yeah.
But all right, guys. That was the three strikes you're out. So one last thing we want to let you guys do before we let you go is kind of plug Brockport Club Baseball. Where can teams find you, or where can players find you that might want to join your team, and just your socials and everything like that?
So our Instagram is Brockport Club Baseball, all one word on Instagram. That's pretty much what we use. Mostly, if you ever want to join or reach out, you can just shoot us a DM after you follow. The DMs are always open. If you want to actually join and you go to Brockport, you can go on brockport.edu and just type in club sports in the search bar, and it'll come right up. We'll probably be the top link on that. I know they just did a news story on us, so yeah. But if you're really looking to join, go Instagram. That's pretty much our main social media, and it's definitely the most active.
Yeah.
All right, boys. Well, thanks for joining us. We appreciate you coming on to talk a little bit about your experience at the World Series and regionals and just kind of about you guys as a whole. So best of luck in the future to both of you because I believe you both graduated, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Skipped graduation to go win a national championship. Pretty good story.
Oh yeah.
But
yeah. Can't go up any higher. Can't go off any on a better rail than that.
no.
You'll be getting some videos soon. They're coming to my grad parties in July.
Oh, here we go. All right, guys. I'll talk
Cochran
to you
will be
later.
there with his milkshakes.
Oh, Kid Cochran and his milkshakes. Nothing like it.
All right,
All right,
thank
boys.
you.
See ya.
Good
Hey, you
one.
guys.
All right. That was SUNY Brockport's Hunter Byrne and Johnny the Horse, as they like to call him, Pulos. They were fun to talk to, and I've had a real fun time throughout the year actually getting to work with them and talk to them. So, one last thing we want to do here is just some housekeeping items for NCBA teams to keep an eye out on. So, I'm going to let Ryan kind of handle that, being the director of Division II baseball.
Yeah, so first thing, if you have not submitted your registration or LPA, please do that to me. All Division two items come to me. You can email me at ryan.lancaster@coldclubsports.com. I'm not sure when we're releasing this episode, but all regions, all Americans will either be out or upcoming. So be on the lookout for those on our Instagrams, Twitter or X, and Facebook pages, and they'll be uploaded on the website. Rules meeting will be July 25th. We will be opening the rule submission changes sheet or form. I think that's July 1st. That's when that will be coming out. So be on the lookout for that. We'll be making an announcement on our socials about that. And then also, I believe the discount for the Rawlings and the game starts July 1st for new hats and uniforms.
Right, Ryan. Well, if that's all our housekeeping items, I'd like to thank everyone for tuning into our podcast. While we talked to Brockport, and don't forget, it's a game. Have fun.
feeling like Steph. Waited too long, but I told him I'm next. I need my bag, just brought me the check. Paper was mine, I ain't taking less.
Dingers, bombs, taters, nukes, icons.